Middle of Central Park. I played spike ball the other day, and I was like, hey, can I just get a quick reminder of the rules? They're like, don't worry, we'll go easy on you. And I'm like, okay. And that's when the competitive came out, because he was like, oh, I'm going to hold my drink so we can go easy. I'm like, oh, put the drink down. Put the drink down. At this point, I'm like, okay, I'm about to turn up out here. To me, it was always focused on soccer and track, and then I could have gone D1 for sprinting in college. Up until my last moments of being like, okay, what school am I going to decide? My parents were funny. They were like, you could always just walk on.
You also picked the school that didn't have.
The one school that I applied to that did not have a D1 program. I was like, this is the one for some reason. Everyone's like,
What things do you find still surprise you?
Oh, this was like athlete growing up. I have to have a routine. The schedule has to stay so rigorous for me. We'll wake up at 5 every day, or else it feels like I wasted a day a little bit.
Do you feel like at this point in your life, you are still more connected to it than if you had gone D1?
I think so. I totally think so. I am a co-host of the Just Women's Sports Are Fun podcast hosted by Kelley O'Hara. I'm actually the one at the championship games and at the professional matches. Ooh.
You could have never predicted this for yourself.
Literally could have never predicted
little
this.
12-year-old BJ at ODP camp.
No. Never could have predicted this.
Did not think this is where that was going to take him. Do you feel like in your current life, you are acknowledged for being an athlete?
It is so funny because...
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to No Former Athlete Podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
BJ, are you an athlete?
Yeah, for sure.
Have you always been able to say yes to that question?
Always. No, yeah. That's been like my most confident attribute to myself, I think.
That.
Like the whole time.
I like that.
Grew up an athlete, born and raised.
Yeah, take us there.
So actually so funny. The other day I was talking to my family about, we're seeing like our little cousins who are like 10 and 15 growing up, not playing a sport. And they are not going to like summer camps as in sports wise. They're doing like classic camps, like summer sleepaway type of thing where they're doing like games, which totally fun, totally different experience. I didn't have, but
they're doing like those like some cabin
in the woods, there's spires.
Definitely some cabins.
It's picturesque.
I love it.
And I was talking to my family about this and I'm like, this is so bizarre because we grew up playing a sport every season. It was just kind of what was the path and the like expectation. Not that it was forced, but my sister played D1, my dad played D1. My dad's in the Hall of Fame for high school, college. Amazing. My sister, D1 athlete. So it was just what was expected. Yep. And then the path was always growing up like sport to college. And then we never like got the far pros talk, but it was just what you expected.
If the
was
opportunity
like,
came,
To me, it was always, I'll go to high school, I'll go to college. And a sport was always there. And it was kind of like hand in hand.
You always knew that was going to be a factor in your decision making. So anytime you were thinking about looking at a college, you were also thinking about, okay, what sport and what am I going to do in that?
Exactly. And we always were doing multiple seasons of different things. So like growing up, we played basketball because my dad was the basketballer. And then we always played soccer. Just that was what our start was like into like athletics in general. Like we started at 3 with the YMCA. And then that just was what stayed because that was what me and my sister both found the most fun. And then eventually we narrowed it down. Like I stopped playing baseball, thank God. But we narrowed it down and eventually like stopped doing certain things but focused on my sister's being primarily soccer, mine being soccer and track, and then just like made our way until that was expected. Like weekends I was expected to go do a soccer game or a track camp, or summers I was expected to do college visits. And so that was my path, and that was really I thought everyone honestly was doing this growing up. So finding out and especially seeing it now in real time where that's not the case, I'm like, what do you guys do for fun? So I would definitely say I'm an athlete.
Yes. Check. It counts.
Check. It counts.
You can send
like
this to your mom and your sister. See, it does count.
It counts. Right. It counts. I'm an athlete, guys. Kelley O'Hara was just not available.
They wanted me. Amazing. With that too, I feel like also that's how your time was decided and allocated as well, right? So it's like those habits even start early on where it's like you said, like, what are you doing for fun? Or like what are those things that you're filling your time with? Because it's so driven by being a multi-sport athlete, which that also within itself is unique at times, which again, for me too, same thing. I played 3 sports, club and school. And so it's like, you don't always realize because you're like, well, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then you hear the kids that are specializing super early,
Totally.
and all those bits.
Yeah. And then you get to the age, I think around like 14-ish when you really were like, okay, you have to pick one.
Right.
And then that was when I was like, oh, I don't want to. Like, I don't want to pick. And then I'm fortunate that I got to see my sister go through her D1 program. I got to see her recruiting process. I got to see her first seasons as I was still really young. So by the time I saw what she had gone through and witnessed, I really was like, I don't want to do this. And it was the first time when my family was like, what?
Hold up.
They're like, hold on. Like,
we weren't preparing for this.
We weren't preparing for this. And I was like, I think I just want to go to college. I think I want to go to prom.
Oh, you didn't want to go play your soccer game and then have to sprint over. Well, was soccer in the fall or the
Soccer
spring?
was in the spring for us.
Okay, same for us in Illinois.
And I just remember my sister would do like all the things like give up going to prom, give up going to like these graduations, give up all these like big high school-esque movie moments. And I remember just being like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to do these things. And then I was like, oh, like, I don't have to take this as seriously. I don't have to play in college. I can do like these things that are also appealing to me and like let me find my other interest.
Right.
And so that was just interesting. And I'll never forget that first season of like her rookie year of college and just hearing like horror stories of girls calling their parents crying because they lost their starting spot. Girls accustomed to being the top dog at where they came from, and just that adjustment to being not. And so I remember just having conversations with my mom and being like, if I'm practicing this hard, I'm playing. And if I don't want to be feeling these type of feelings all the time. And so I knew I still wanted to play, and I did play all the way through high school. And then I was like, okay, like which was a totally different experience because I knew when my end was coming, which was also like I chose it to a different degree. And even speaking on track, my parents were funny. They were like, you could always just walk on. Like, you can always like communicate with the coaches. So I was even communicating with track coaches.
Yeah.
Up until my last moments of being like, okay, what school am I going to decide? Like, I know I'm not going to do the recruiting process because it's not something I want to do. But if I choose this school for X, Y, and Z, I know I can have these conversations with these coaches and walk on.
Yeah.
Which eventually I did choose the one school that didn't have a D1 cross-country program.
Really?
Because I was just like, and that was a big factor because I didn't want to do it. And I wanted to do the stereotypical football games, tailgating, frat parties. So, and I was able to do the club team. So it allowed me to go into college and even be like, okay, I'm choosing to do what I want to do. I'm not choosing to do a sport. And then eventually I did end up doing the club team, but it allowed me to be like, this actually is what I like. Like, I'm actually enjoying the racing. I'm enjoying the people. And it allowed me to like have a rekindling into a sense.
Yeah.
And also I was a sprinter. And it eventually led me to become the long distance runner, marathon runner that I am now. So
interesting. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna break some of that down.
Yeah, I feel like I really just.
No, you did fantastic. You did fantastic. However, so you chose from high school. You had the opportunity to play which sports in college? So
I could have I had conversations starting in like ID camps and all of those. Like, we have this thing where I'm from and across the country called ODP. It's the Olympic Development Program.
I was an ODP growing up.
It was like rigorous.
It's very rigorous.
But I started doing those when I was 12 maybe. Yeah. So I had like the exposure. I had kind of seedlings to be able to go and have those conversations with coaches. So I was doing those camps and those conversations starting when I was probably early middle school, and then had the decision that I knew I was not going to do it once I was like mid freshman year of high school. And I knew I even dropped down a level in my club level just to have more fun with it. Yeah. And then, because for a long time too, it was just like, oh, I want to be the top. But it was just this time being like, I'm happy here. I'm good here. And that's that.
And that was for soccer.
That was for soccer. And then I had the opportunity to probably, if I really wanted to push for it, I could have gone D1 for sprinting in college. So, and that option was always there. Maybe not a scholarship, but it could have, if I pushed for it, I could have. And then I had the opportunity, no matter what college I was going to be in those communications, to be a walk-on to those D1's teams. And then you could gain your scholarships by getting your times and performing and how that works. But
it was a plan B.
It was a plan B.
In that regard. However, you also picked the school that didn't have.
One school that I applied to that did not have a D1 program. I was like, this is the one for some reason. Everyone's like, As everyone's like,
I wonder how you actually feel about plan B sitting there.
And I'm like, ooh, this doesn't have a,
bummer.
darn it, I can't do it. can't be a student athlete. I just have to party.
Oh my God.
But okay. It was fun. Like,
was that hard? Was that hard to decide that? I know you said you had the experience, like your sister was older than you. And so it's like you saw those things and started to have earlier thoughts than some people might.
Yeah. But I definitely feel like if it wasn't for my sister and let's say the roles were reversed and I was the older one. Yeah. I think I would have gone the same route as she did and either done like a soccer or a track because it just would have been what was expected. And not to say she didn't enjoy her experience.
Totally.
Me and her are so different. Like I am like more of a social butterfly. Yeah. I am the one who wants to do like those type of things. So and
the sacrifice of that wasn't worth it.
Yes.
And not in a good or bad way. Like that just for you. Yeah. That was
and for her it was worth it. Yeah. Like she was okay with missing things versus I was like, no, I want to do these things. And I feel like I'm very self-aware of like being in the moment of college and wanting to have that picturesque college moment where I was doing the Greek life and doing all of this stuff because I was like, this is my one chance to do it. And I was very aware of being in high school and being like, I want to like be the class president. I want to be like do these type of things and try and go to prom and all these different homecoming floats. Like I was very, and I feel like I still am in my current day of like, I'm aware of what I have and what I'm able to do in that moment for a set amount of time. And I'm pretty good at addressing like this is a once in a lifetime thing that I can do at this moment and I want to do it. So and I knew in that time like that's what I wanted to do. So
which is beautiful to be able to have that awareness and be able to kind of introspectively look at that and know what you want. Yeah. Because too, it's like I have conversations with people a lot and even for myself, it's like sometimes and I am the oldest child and I am the oldest sister that took the route, to do all the things. But it's one of those two where it's like even that like want and knowing what I want, I still struggle with today. Because growing up, it was like, what are you doing to make yourself better, to be better for your team and to be there, for your teammates and to make everything else. So it's like, for me, it was always driven by that kind of external validation of how it was making the team better. And so it was like all wrapped up in that athlete identity where it's like you were able to kind of separate those things for yourself early.
Yeah. And I think that's just being the youngest child.
Totally.
And being able to be like, I'm putting myself first. I'm putting myself first here. I'm like, well.
No, but it's so true that too, like within sports, so much of it is taught to be that selfless athlete, right? Yeah. Be that athlete that's just there for the next thing. And it's like, there's a point in time where it's like you have to be able to be selfish for yourself to know what choices you're actually making.
Yeah. And I think also just growing up compared to like the rest of my family, like I come from a very competitive family, but I feel like I also have always been someone, and I say this all the time, like even speaking with like doing a little game with Kelley O'Hara. We played tennis yesterday and she's like,
I just that on
she's literally like, oh my God, like she's trying to like beat me so bad. And then she's like, you don't care? And like, you don't care if you lose this point? And I'm like, I'm competitive, yes, but I can turn it off so quick and be like, okay, like I'm here for fun. And I think that is just something also that really plays into my own, like my past decisions and my choices of being, I remember on the track, I would be like, if someone pissed me off and I really wanted to be a specific person, I would be like, I'm beating you. I'm doing what I can. But
you had the ability.
I had the ability. But if I was in a good mood, if I ran a race and I was like, I'm satisfied, like, I'm satisfied, like, cool. But if I was, let's say you really like said something to me before and I was like, oh, I don't care what I do. I don't care what the time is. I'm beating you. But versus another one, I'd be like, I really tried my best, I guess. Like, who beat me? I don't care. So it was frustrating, I'm sure, for coaches and families.
Sure.
Like, I remember I would finish a game and I had finished like a track meet and they'd be like, are you even tired? Did you sweat? Like, and I'm like, I really gave it my all.
The rest of your family.
And everyone's like tweaking, they're twitching, and I'm like, it's okay, guys. Like, I tried my best.
It's fine. It was on me.
It was on me. I'm like, why are you guys actually more concerned than I am? And so I was like, maybe this route isn't for me.
You're like, maybe I don't want to keep doing it at that level. Yeah.
Yeah, but I still was able to think like have fun the whole time.
Yeah.
And I never had like a sore spot towards the sport. And even when I stopped, I was like, oh wait, I actually did like doing this. I still want to participate in some form, and I can do the club team where I can still compete and be competitive and be an athlete and win when I want to win. Because don't get me wrong, winning is a great feeling. Like I love to win when I know I can, but it also was able to like make it a joke and have fun and not stress out and like to not take it too seriously and actually do the sport and have fun with it. So I really liked it.
Yeah. to your tennis reference from yesterday, yeah, I'm the type of person that like I have learned my boundaries, and I really don't mean it in a bad way, but like if I'm going to play a sport, I have to play it how it's going to be played. Like if I'm playing spike ball, it's going to be 2 versus 2, and you're going to play it by the rules that it's played. I can't be in like on the beach with a group of like 7 people around just like hitting it off of it. I can't.
No, like, and I can do that.
I don't mind if other people do it, but I know that I can't be a part of it because my like anger will just grow like every point that's not being counted as a point.
No. And I'm like, meanwhile, I'm saying that like,
what's the score? What's
like
the
literally.
Score?
I'm like, they're like, what's the score? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, but aren't we having so much fun?
Like also, and then you're probably also doing it somewhat successfully as well. So then that's probably driving people insane as well.
I literally, this is so funny. You mentioned spike ball. I played the other day, and I was with like,
how many people were around?
There's 4 of us. There was 4 of us. We played properly, and I couldn't remember the rules for some reason. I couldn't remember like how many touches it was. I couldn't remember the scoring. So I was like, hey, like, and me and my friend saw these 2 people playing, and we were like, oh, can we play against you guys? And I was like, hey, can I just get a quick reminder of the rules? Like, I don't remember them. And they're like, yeah, they're explaining it to me. And I was like, you're explaining it a little too much. Like, I know how to play. Like, don't worry. And then I'm like, okay. And they're like, don't worry, we'll go easy on you. And I'm like, okay. And then at this point, I'm like, oh, I'm about to like turn up. I'm like, because at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm about to turn up out here.
Like, okay.
And beat them twice.
Yes, congrats.
And they were like, you sandbagged us. Like you said, I said, I never said I didn't know how to play. I said I needed a refresher. But
you decided that for yourself.
You decided that.
You decided that about me.
You did. But me and my friend did beat them twice. So it was a success. And that's when the competitive came out. Because I was like, oh, like, because he was like, oh, I'm going to hold my drink so we can go easy. I'm like, oh, put the drink down. Put the drink down.
That would have really got me.
So then I was like, okay, I got to turn up out here, guys. Middle of Central Park. And I'm like, like, it was sick.
I like that.
It was sick and twisted, but I had fun.
So I love to, as we're talking about all of this, that you so easily answered that you were an athlete at the beginning.
Easy.
Because that is so in you, right? And it's like, you don't just...
You don't lose it.
You don't lose it. You don't just not get credit for the things that you've already done. Did you feel, or do you remember those first year or like first months even, let's say first weeks of college? Like when you went into college, that was your first time officially stepping onto a campus, going to school and not being a student athlete.
Yeah.
And not having either the recognition of being a student athlete or kind of the external validation of that piece.
Yeah, I totally remember it. And I remember I just dove in and was like, let me try everything. It was bizarre. I was doing like
incredible
book club, journalism club. What were you doing? What were you doing? You were really seeking something, but
you met a lot of people fast.
Because I was also like, I got to meet as many people. I got to find a friend group. Like I don't know what was going on, but I was just overly eager.
That's okay.
And then eventually, I met someone who was like, didn't you do cross country and track in college? Like you should just come to one practice. And I was like, I've been there. I've done that. I'm good. Like I was trying to like reinvent the wheel or something. So, and then eventually I was like, okay, I'll just go to one.
Let's explore that a little bit.
I don't know. I think I just wanted to rebrand. Like I really don't know. And I never was like, I'm done working out. Like I still was like, working out is fun to me. Working out is like my little mental break. Like I still for sure will do that. And like it's how I keep my sanity. And that was always something that even going into college those first couple weeks, I was like, I'm going to work out. I was actually even excited to like form my own workouts.
Right.
So that was something I was like, oh my God, I'm going to take a Pilates class.
Be told what to do.
Exactly. And I think that's what I was ready to dive into. And then eventually I was like, oh, like okay, fine. I'll come to one. And then I was like, okay, I like it.
I enjoyed this. Maybe not more than what you realized, but you did enjoy it.
I enjoyed it. And I was like, there was a reason I did this the first time. Yeah. And it's not like growing up, my parents were ever like, you can't quit. Right. I just never wanted to, but I also didn't really see it as like an option. But also it's not like I was like, oh, I want to quit. Like, you know. Yeah. But this time I was like, oh, like this is my full choice. No one influenced me to come here. No one suggested like, oh, you're fast on the soccer field. You should run track. And oh, this is an off-season thing for you to do to build speed. No one, it was just my own choice. I was just doing it for me. And I was doing it because I was also making friends and like able to do it. And these people on the club team could have cared absolutely less how I performed. Like I could have been the slowest person there. I could have been the fastest person there. And they still would have been like, great job. Like, because nothing was on the line. And it was just, it was just exactly what I wanted because then I could be as competitive with myself as I wanted. But if I'm not feeling it, I wasn't feeling it. Like, it was okay. And I loved it.
Do you think that you choosing that when you did and being able to then have that full autonomy of getting back into it or just creating your own workout plan?
Yeah.
Do you feel like at this point in your life and who you are still more connected to it than if you had gone D1?
I think so. I totally think so. Because even finishing, I was like, coming out of college and moving to New York, I was like, I need something, a goal, let's say. Like, I always still was able to have these goals when I was on the club track team and club cross country team to be like, I want to run a sub 30 8K. And then I was able to like do XYZ. I want to be top 7 on my club team. I want to race this. I want to get this time in the mile. Whereas afterwards, I graduated and I was like, oh, I need a goal. And then I was like, I also I like the team camaraderie and I liked that. So as soon as me and my friends graduated, the first thing we did that November was we ran our first marathon together. Yeah. And now that's been something we do every year together where we meet in a location and we do a marathon every year since we graduated. And that's like our girls trip, quote unquote, where we can all meet and do like explore city, but also run a marathon and feel like that's something we accomplish and an athletic goal that we can look forward to, that we can all compete in our own ways. Like, we don't have to run together, but we can also train together and kind of like still feel like we're practicing and doing those type of things. So I feel like as soon as I don't think I would have felt that way after doing a D1 sport, but coming out of a team, graduating and being like, oh, I like this team, I liked what we did. I'm still able to be competitive with myself and have set times that I want to run each marathon I run, but also come up with a training plan and get better each time and do it differently. Like, this time I did this way, this time I did this way. This is what worked for me. So, and still have like these competitive moments in my life and something to look forward to.
Yeah. Do you feel like in your current life and in the things that you do currently, you are acknowledged for being an athlete?
It's so funny because it is so funny because every single time I tell someone I do a marathon, or the other day I posted on my Instagram story that I ran 10 miles, everyone's like, whoa, you are so sick. Which to me, I'm like, all my friends do those. Like, this is not special. Yeah. But so it's so funny. I think I'll get reminded of it and it's like a little smile, or we'll like do something like a spike ball and people will be like, oh my God, you're athletic, or we'll play like a game of horse. Like I play some pretty like athletically inclined friends where we'll like get a volleyball and like just like hit it around and they're like, oh, you're like pretty good. And I'm like, I'm not, but
not compared to like the people that are Olympic, playing that and you're surrounded. Yeah. But it's like also, which that obviously doesn't bother you in any way. No. That like the athlete piece is a part of your identity fully still to this day. Yeah. Even if people don't outwardly see that or necessarily associate that with you.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's so funny because I work in fashion. I wear clothes that are not like you don't think I can touch my toes in this. Like, I'm wearing something like super tight, guys. So I mean, when I do I don't showcase it in my day-to-day life unless you see me at the gym or you see me working out and running. So I think it is so funny that when people hear these little things like, oh, I did not expect this about you, and I'm like, oh yeah, like so but I think that would also
bother a lot of athletes.
I think it would
to not be acknowledged for it.
I do think it would. I find it as like a fun surprise. It's as soon as also, again, I work in fashion. Right. I'm like outwardly very seemingly gay. Like people can clock that pretty quickly. They're like, ooh, I'm getting clocked. It's okay. It's okay. So like when people find out I am into sports and I am like a sports podcaster. So I feel like and while I understand people can get mad about it, I find it like very fun to be like, I'm not a stereotype. Like, I'm pretty like a complex character. So I like it. I find it as a fun. Like the other day we were in a bar and a hockey game was on and I'm like, I love the Devils. And this straight man is like, you do? And I'm like, I love the Devils. Like, and they're like, and he's like low-key quizzing me to make 100%. Sure to see what I really know.
Can you name
players? And then I'm like naming like, and we were saying facts. I don't even remember what we were saying, but it was like the last time the Rangers played the Devils, and I said the scoreline correctly, and he said it wrong, and then he was like trying to like combat me and be like, you're wrong, and I'm like, no, I'm not. Look up the record, and then I was correct, and he was like, oh, you're like a fan, like, and I gained his respect, quote unquote, but I was like, I was like,
it's also like, bro, I shouldn't need to.
It was bro-ish, and I kind of, but I was also like, yeah.
You're like, yeah, go ahead and give me that.
I was like, clock it. Yeah. And I was like, should we go to a game sometime? Yeah. So I like it. I really do. Yeah. I find it kind of funny. Like, so me personally, I like these type of things when people find out I'm a sports podcaster, or when people like see me at a WNBA game, or I'm like going to an MLB game. So
yeah.
And people are genuinely surprised, and then they'll find out like, oh, you played too? And I'm like, yeah, like,
yeah,
I like it. I think it's so funny to be like, yeah, I am one thing, but I'm also something else. So I really like it.
Yeah. You wear it very well.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because it's like you've been able to find this piece and this place where it's like you feel super comfy being within that.
Yeah.
If I were to put some of it out there, even in the way that you've just described it, right? It's like so much of your athletic start and upbringing was so influenced by your family.
Yeah.
Which all have a pretty strong athletic pedigree.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That also is, it's like for you in the back of your head, it's like, you know, that like that's where your whole identity started.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been gay for a while, guys. Like, I'm a tried and true. So, and I was very comfortable being gay growing up. I was probably, I don't know what age, probably like 10 I discovered. Whoa. But it came to the realization that I'd put the two and two together. And so I grew up gay, I also grew up an athlete, and I never really had an issue being both, and that was never seen as like, in my family at least, it was never seen as like, oh, you have to be one or the other.
Yeah.
And so that was something that just kind of went hand in hand. And so, and of course you see, you're running against people and they're like, oh, like, of course I'm from the South, guys. Like, I was taunted, sure. And my name is BJ. Like, come on now. So I've heard it all. So,
like, don't even come at me.
So don't even come at me. Of course. I got a thick skin. So,
got that.
I went to middle school.
I went to middle school.
So I feel like those two things always went hand in hand with me.
Yeah.
And so I was very comfortable with it, and being not only gay, but in the sports world, and also having to perform well, and if not better than, to prove a point. And so I've always been very comfortable and athlete aligned in my identity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It is very interesting with people that I've had conversations with in some of the other podcast episodes, for those of us that are queer and are athletes, how much a lot of times people's stories or different parts of those journeys and identities overlap and or influence each other strongly. Whether it be a situation of like, right, you've got the stereotypical like locker room talk, and especially for you, it's like you grew up playing men's sports.
Yeah.
Like that, those locker rooms can be rough.
Yeah.
Let alone then you add that kind of queerness in with it, you know? And again, people have their own perspectives on all the things, but in the way that you're describing this, which like you're saying this, I'm like, yeah.
And
I fully understand
been
that.
So
like,
self-assured. Like, I've always been unapologetically myself, which I'm really, I don't know what, sometimes I'm like, wow, you were naive back then. Like, you are crazy. But
that's what you knew.
Yeah, I knew.
That was your only experience at
It was
that
my only
time.
experience, and I was very fortunate with where I grew up. Like, it was the South, but I was always comfortable being myself, and I was always made to feel comfortable. So, and when situations were not, the positive outweighed the negative in my eyes. So I never really struggled with that identity.
And now you still get to tap into all these other interests and just shock the hell out of people.
Exactly. And I will say, coming into the sports world, like I would not like to use the word sports figure. Let's call it a journalist.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
We'll call it a journalist.
Yeah.
Or like a social media person in sports. It is so bizarre, and so I'm still adjusting to being recognized and people seeing me and questioning my opinion some online, but also then you have the other people seeing me in public at a sports game and being like, asking my opinion and my analysis. And I'm like, the game hasn't started. I don't know. So it is such an interesting thing that I'm experiencing now for the first time.
Yeah.
But also just being a fan and being like I'm not media trained. I'm not a sports analyst. I'm only putting my own opinion, but it's also like really justifying the knowledge that I've gained and like I've had of these things, because I grew up playing soccer. I grew up playing basketball. Like, I'm not someone who just came into it, but I'm also not someone who's like accredited, but it's also like reaffirming like, oh, like I think this way. I have these opinions, these thoughts. I'm seeing these trends and like performances of players or teams, and I'm validated. Like people agree with me, stats are agreeing with me, and these predictions that I'm coming up with are correct. So that's actually been like something really, really fun.
That's
and like that I've really loved to tap into this year, and seeing things that I've predicted of like, for example, Mia Official, when she was announcing that she was coming to NWSL, I was like, oh, I see her at Seattle, and here's why. And then eventually other people had different opinions, and then but mine was right. And then it was like, okay, like I know what I'm talking about. I had different opinions about one of the Emma Hayes rosters, who she picked. And then I mentioned someone who I can't remember at the top of my head right now, but I remember I said something start to finish, and she did exactly what I said she was going to do. Not that she consulted me at all. Not that even she, not even that she heard not even that she heard what I said. But eventually, like a couple days later, the exact thing I predicted happened, and I was like,
you're like, okay.
Then I'm like, I kind of know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But also, it's nice to have like this. That's what I'm adjusting to. This is a new side of being an athlete, a fan athlete, but also a person, a spokesperson in sports.
But tapping back into all that you know from the
from growing up playing,
we have sort of talked around it. What do you do now?
Right.
A lot of people are already going to know, but yes, what do you do now?
Yeah, so I am a co-host of the Just Women's Sports Are Fun podcast hosted by Kelley O'Hara. So we are a weekly women's sports podcast that recaps women's sports in its entirety. We'll do soccer mostly because Kelley O'Hara, professional retired soccer player, but we'll also do basketball in the WNBA. We'll do tennis with all the opens. We'll do track. We'll do the PWHL, which is the hockey team. We'll do college basketball. We'll do college softball. And so we'll do basically anything that is in the news that's supporting women's sports we're talking about. So it's very entertaining. It's broadened even my knowledge of sports I've never played or done. Like I'm learning about hockey, for example. I'm learning about...
Have you been to a game yet?
I have, and I really liked it. It was really, really fun.
I'm obsessed with it.
I'm so obsessed and could never play.
Fair.
I'm learning all these new things even that I'm fascinated by.
Yeah. With what you were just talking about with like your predictions and putting those things out there and all that, was that something that you were already doing and just something that like your brain and your interest were those things that you were already following on social media, stuff that like you were already in that space, and it's like you've accumulated this over years. And then
no, totally.
How in the world did you connect? Where did that journey come from?
So I became a host on this podcast from an Instagram story that Kelley O'Hara posted when she was previously about to retire the year prior. So this was in 2024. My friend sent it to me.
Incredible.
And was like, you should apply to this. Like it was.
So it was known amongst your friends that like you already had interest in this type of content and stuff.
Yeah, all my friends knew. Like if you followed me on Instagram, you would know I'm the biggest Sophia Wilson fan. Like everyone, I had T-shirts that I wear, like of graphic tees. I went to games anytime I could. So this was known. If you know me, you knew I was a sports fan. You didn't know I was probably like a men's sports fan, but like you still don't probably know that. Okay. Yeah, okay. Like I don't want to publicly support a man, but so people knew. It was like in my identity. It wasn't like I was producing content. Like I wasn't making and speaking on content as I am now. Like I wasn't giving these predictions publicly, but I had them. People knew them. I had like my mock rosters before a major tournament in the soccer.
I love it.
I had my mock WNBA Olympic rosters and who I thought should be MVPs, but I never was like posting these out.
Right.
Or even communicating them with anyone other than
you weren't out there.
It was just like me. It was just me and seeing if I was correct. But so my friend sent me this Instagram and started the application for me, and she was like, "I'm just gonna apply for you. You have to be based in New York." And I was like, "Okay, like I'm not gonna get it." And I was like, I'm not. I literally had those kind of like doubts of like, I'm not a professional athlete. I'm not outwardly like posting content. I work in fashion. My Instagram, my social media is very fashion forward. It's very like I work in events for fashion full time for those who don't know. So I'm producing like events like the Met Gala. So my Instagram is like runway shows. It is all these things that I still do to this day, and I'm still happy and proud to do and love. But now it's mixed with some sports, guys. But my friend applied for me, and then she was like, all you have to do is send in a video. Like the only part that I actually did do was I had to send in a video talking about my unpopular opinion in sports.
You were like,
and I was like, I got it. I was like, I got it. This part's easy. And then I eventually got asked to do an interview. I had no clue that it was a podcast. I had no clue It was drafted as an intern for Kelley.
Got it.
And I don't think at the time when it started this process
maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think we knew what she was going to do and what Just Women's Sports was going to do.
Yeah.
But they knew she was going to do something. She was very popular doing like those Kelley on the Streets videos and like kind of those social media-esque videos and things. So I think she knew she was going to do something of that realm, but I don't know when the podcast came to fruition. But I came in, I did a like talk, and I literally went in being like, I'm just going to meet Kelley O'Hara. And then I'm done.
Yeah. Like, you're like, great. If that's as far as I get. Great.
Yeah, I was like, this is as far as I was like, I just want an interview. I want to meet Kelley. And then I'm good.
Yeah.
And then check that off the bucket list. And then I come into the interview and I'm seeing some other people. And again, this is where I became fortunate.
Yeah.
I had met Beyonce before. I've worked in really high-end events.
Yeah.
So sorry, Kelley, if you're hearing this, but I was not starstruck. I was able to be myself. I was able to maintain some composure, which definitely benefited me.
Yes, because people are people.
Because people are people.
People are
people. I won't say I was always not starstruck over Beyonce, but
well, I mean, yeah.
So I was able to come into that interview, be fully myself, not really be shy. Yeah. And again, I come back in and this time like, we're micing you up. And I'm like, why? they're like, just to like, remember your answers. I'm like, okay. Like, yeah. And they're like, oh, you're really comfortable in front of the camera. I'm like,
well,
okay. I'm like, guys, I'm Gen Z, like whatever. Yeah. I'm recording myself like all the time. And so I was able to be myself again and like kind of be quick-witted with her and be comfortable with her and jab with her a little bit. Yeah. And then again,
with
the whole
underlying of
some
you were already
knowledge.
into this. Yeah, you're already into this. And so the points and the things that you were bringing are legit like,
like we were able to gab, we were able to talk about things. And at this point still, I wasn't being considered to be a host. Right. At this point, I was still being considered to like, get coffees and do these different things. And then so funny because it happens in July, right?
Yeah.
I have a full-time job. So I'm like, I'm not going to get this far. Whatever. Yeah. Every single time I advance, I was like, this is just so funny. Like, what a fun story to tell. So I'm just like, whatever. And then months and months go by. I'm like, I've moved on. I'm thinking I'm done. Yeah. I get a text or email in January being like, are you ready to start? And I'm like, start what? And they're like, no one told you? And I was like, told me what? We're doing a podcast together. And I'm like, hey, like, I'm really not going to be the intern. So sorry. Like, I have a full-time job. Like, and they're like, yeah, like, you're not going to be the intern anymore. We want you to co-host. I was like, oh,
now we're talking
and
something different.
Okay, yeah, like, I can make myself available. I was like, I can make myself available. Like, let me talk to the boss.
Incredible.
So that was where it was very fun. But again, it was like, I was like, are you guys sure? And they're like, you have knowledge enough to know what you're talking about. You can give some quick wit and like give a fan perspective, which I've noticed. And like, that's what we've noticed has done well is like the fan perspective and the things that I am not a professional athlete. I was never a professional athlete, but I have perspective from a fan that, the common listener is providing. So that's where it's getting more interesting because I'm also someone who did it in a space, but I never did it to that level. So it's like things that Kelley and a guest, let's use Alex Morgan, are talking about. Yeah. I'm like, hey, I actually don't know what you're talking about. Like, these are the things that I can contribute to the podcast and be like, as a casual fan of yours and a fan of this level of sport.
And as someone that knows a lot about it, the things that you're saying are...
If I don't know it,
so
who else? That's like, it's reasonable someone else is not going to know it. Because I'm not asking the rules of the game. What's offsides? But like, I'm asking like real questions of like, how do your trades work? How do your how does XYZ work? How are you asked up and to be called up into camp? Like, what are you told? Like the things that everyone wants to know and
you're
can
asking
speculate.
The questions that the people listening want to be able to ask.
But like these things for someone like Kelley O'Hara are... It's like tying your shoes. Like, it's like, oh, well, I didn't think you want to know this. Because
it's like they forget. They forget to tell all the in-between processes because they all already know it. Yeah. So all their people on the same level. Yeah.
It's like a curse of knowledge for them because they assume everyone knows. But it's things like, these are not public to your fans and your people like following along. So, which is something I'm happy to bring on. And I feel like people are really comfortable with me because I'm not famous. So I get like the people coming up to me in the sports arenas and the fields and able to comfortably talk to me. People in my DMs who I will actually get to answer because I don't get a million DMs like the professional athletes. So I feel I have a little community of people who are talking to me. And it's so funny because I'll even have games where people will just text me and be like, this game is on. Like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, this is so fun. Like,
great.
This is great.
That's so great.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that's like, yeah, you could have never predicted this for yourself.
Literally could have never predicted this.
12-year-old BJ at ODP camp.
No. Never could have predicted this.
Did not think this is where that was going to take him.
I'm laughing because I'm like, the people growing up who did take it super seriously, who did think they were going to be like, you guys grew up with like the players and everyone the kids who thought they were going to be professional athletes and be like X, Y, Z. And I'm not taking it seriously enough, X, Y, Z. And it's like, I'm actually the one at the championship games and at the professional matches. Ooh.
Which really gets those people ruffled.
And I'm like, we might not be there the way we thought, but I'm still the one there. So it is fun to be like, oh, I did get there, but in a different realm and in a realm that is very suited for, I think, my personality and the things I like. So
yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you have found a way to be able to contribute
and
a way to use your athlete experience and use all of your athlete knowledge that still represents you.
Yeah.
In the same way that you were able to autonomously make your decision of when you were ready to not, be competing at the same level.
Yeah.
Which, is just, I just love the grace and kind of your comfortability with your decision. And the fact, like we were talking earlier, just like your assuredness, right? Where it's like, that's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to be like, oh, I'm choosing when my last game is.
Yeah. And I think, again, you hear it from professional athletes all the time. Like you saw someone like Megan Rapinoe who did end her career with an injury versus someone
even
like...
when she freaking knew it was the last game. You literally go into this still. I was at that game. And you're just sitting there and it's like, you're warming up. For everything you're doing is the last, right?
Yeah.
You're tying your shoes for the last time. You're putting on your jersey for the last time. You're stepping onto the field. Then she freaking... You still had a season-ending injury.
Yeah.
Like, what?
But you have like someone, I guess she was not a good example because it was technically her last game overall.
No,
but like, let's say her, because she knew everything was going to be her last. Ali Krieger, who knew everything was going to be her last. Sam Mewis, who didn't.
Exactly.
I still chose when everything was my last. And I knew that going in. So my last soccer game, I knew it was my last soccer game. And I was like, oh, I'm sad about it, but I know it, And it was just, it's a different feeling. And it's something I could choose on my own. Like I played every minute until I knew I wasn't going to. So...
yeah,
it's something I'm super satisfied with, and not to say like I'm still in the Volo leagues, guys. Like I'm on the intramurals, I'm on the recreational leagues. Like I'm still playing for fun, but going from that type of competitiveness, like I knew it was my last time, and so you'll be on these recreational leagues where someone's like, I've never played before, I'm just here to learn, which is like of course fun, but like you said, you have to be able to turn it off and not be super competitive all the time,
right?
So
that's still hard.
We're still adjusting. We're still working on it.
No. But this is such a piece of it, because in that same way, and it's still floating in my brain, like you were saying about Kelley the other night, where she was like, wait, so you just like don't actually care what the score of this game is going to be. Like same for me. And I'm almost a kind of the opposite example of you, where it's like, for me, I know for like the joy piece of like, if you took little kid Aaron and you were just like, okay, what do you picture yourself in your 30s? Like blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'll be playing adult league sports. Yeah. Like, because that's all I knew about myself, right? Still, I can tell that like I would get joy out of playing adult league sports.
Yeah.
We technically Alex and I played in one like co-ed basketball league.
That's fun.
We did win the league, but we played in one. We played in one league and then started the second league, but it was COVID, so then it got chopped, right? And so it was like, since that little blip of a moment, like I have not played an adult league sport to this day. Meanwhile, I'm like obviously very interested in it and all these things. Like it's still a huge part of me, but I'm working on it. I'm still struggling with that bit of like, you can't be as competitive about it. And that's not saying that it's like you can't, because obviously there's people that are, but it's like knowing myself, it's like getting over that hump of your body's not going to do what it used to do, and you're not going to be able to be the best one out there. Not that I should expect that to, because I've done no practice. So it's like logically I can get there on all these things, but the fear just is like, scared.
Yeah, I totally get that.
And it's just like that fear of, the last time that you were playing and that you were playing competitively, you just
I knew I was done.
You could do it, and you knew that you were playing at the highest level, you know, and all the things. Yeah.
And I'll not get me wrong. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I will have times when I'm in a professional, like not professional, recreational league, and I'll be, I'm like actually need to turn off for a second because I'll be like, I took such a bad touch, such a bad shot. Yeah. I whiffed this, or I didn't get past this man. I can't you know. So I'll have those moments, of course, still where it's like, and then I'm like, oh wait. It's okay. Like
wait, that's not what I'm here
like,
for.
this is okay. But I think it's also fortunate that I am mostly competing with myself on like the running because it's really just me against the world for that. So it's just like, you were gonna run X amount of miles in X pace. And this is something I really can control. And so I think that's where I am getting most of my competitiveness out and my like athlete-ish like out.
Interesting.
Versus then soccer, it's like, I'm just here for fun. I'm just here with friends. I'm about to sign up for a new league, so like talk to me in a couple weeks because maybe it's gonna drum up something. Circle back. But I'm thinking right now, I'm feeling confident about it. I'm feeling happy.
I love it. Yeah, hearing you talk about it and the pieces, it's like, it can be just that.
Yeah, and I'm hoping like. Yeah. I mean, the one I'm about to sign up for, I haven't played in a soccer league in a couple, maybe like a year and a half. So it's been a minute. But
what's the drawback into it?
The drawback in it, I just want to play. Yeah. Like I really just want to play. I want to run around like that. I was on a volleyball team, and I was like, guys, like this is fun, but like this is not my thing. Like,
it's like not enough running.
Yeah, I was like, this is not enough running. I want to try. Like I'm literally watching so much soccer all the time. I'm like, I'm trying to pull out like a trin spin when I can. Like I'm like, I've watched it so much that now I think I can do it. I have some new
moves I need to practice.
And unfortunately for me, I'm like seeing it so much that I'm like, I could probably do it. I can like modify it to my own abilities.
I love when you have these like little competitive spikes. It's the little spikes, right? Where it's like when someone like challenges you just enough, or there's like, you're like, no.
So I'll be able to have enough spike to be like, okay, I can try a move on someone. I can get past someone. Or like, you know, you're playing against however many levels of people. Yeah. And you're like, okay, there's going to be one other person who's going to be so good. I'm going to take the ball off of them. Someone's going to try and beat me in a foot race. I'm going to get there first. Like, so I'm excited to get those little things out.
Yeah. Those little shock factors.
Yeah, those little shock factors. But then also play with my friends. And like, they played growing up too. So it's like, this is going to be fun for us.
They're
like,
going to love that.
Yeah. And they're like, can't wait to see you. And I'm like, whoa. Don't expect like 12-year-old ODP. I was like, don't expect 12-year-old ODP player, but like expect like maybe like
ODP BJ is not showing up. Yeah, no. Soccer.
It might be an above average adult.
Oh, I like that.
Like someone who's kicked the ball a couple times. Yeah.
What things? I know we've talked about a lot of different pieces, but like, what things do you find still surprise you when they kind of like show themselves?
Find it like I have to have a routine. I like on the weekdays especially, like that's when I'm really like, oh, this was like an athlete growing up, because I need to, like, my routine is so strict. I will wake up at 5 every day. I will go to the gym and do whatever I want to do. Like it could be a gym class. Like I'm not pretty strict on that. It could be a gym class. It could be a long run. It could be a weightlifting. I'm not too strict on that.
But it's happening at that time.
Happens at that time. I come back. I eat a breakfast, I get ready, I go to work. And then after work, it's like, okay, this is your time to like play, quote unquote. Like you can do whatever you want. You can come film a podcast. You can go to dinner or happy hour with friends. Like you can, but like the schedule has to stay so rigorous for me, or else it feels like I wasted a day a little bit and I didn't. And that's just like my own like mental like, but it also like, these are the things that I do internally to like align my chakras and like keep myself accountable and keep myself aligned. And so like, and that's definitely something that like my friends are like, how do you work out every day? And I'm like, I did all the time growing up. Like, this is my form of therapy. This is how I get my energy out. Is how I don't feel restless and like antsy and twitchy and like I'm not like I'm being too sedentary. Like that little movement. It doesn't have to be a crazy workout, but that's just something that's lingered with me to feel like I'm doing something every day. And keeping that routine. I think that's my main thing that I've really like habited.
Yeah. In the same way that how we started this conversation of, wait, what do you guys do for fun if you're not doing sports?
Yeah. And like, that's something for fun for me. Like I like to go to the gym. Like right now I'm really into this. I'm into ClassPass right now. And I really like going to these specific classes because I see the same people and I'm like, I go every Monday. Like, Patty's gonna be like, where's BJ if he's not here? Yeah. Like, she's gonna think I'm slacking. Like, and then I also like to try, like, I like to try the newest fad of the like the workout craze, like the Pilates with the like.
You're like, sure, let me try.
And I'm like, let me try. I want to see if I can do it. I want to try berries. Like, I want to do it all.
Not competitive though. Don't worry.
Not competitive. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Not competitive.
The most competitive you'll see me is those gym classes. Like, you will see me on a cycle or like a Pilates thing, and I'm like, oh, like she can do it. I'm leveling up too. Like, I will. That's where I'm really uncontrollably competitive. I don't know what that's about, but
we'll reflect more on that.
They're
later.
like, oh, like you can do the modify. Oh, I'm not modifying this. Like, I will do it. And I will do it with the heaviest weights. Like, that, I don't know what that's about. So we'll need to like deeper dive that later. But
that'll be another episode.
But that's where the competitive comes out.
Yeah.
But I think that's definitely like the thing that I find like what I do for fun, but also how I keep myself aligned and how I keep myself sane. And those habits are how I keep the athlete mentality a lot.
Totally.
And setting those little goals for myself and being like, this, let's use squatting, for example. If I squat this week, X amount of weight, next week I go up a little bit, like that's a little mini win for me. And I like those things and like seeing the progress. And even if it's not like physical appearance, it's just like I like the progress. I like checking off these things and doing these things and being like, I did this. I accomplished this. Like, this was my goal of the week, It
still feeds that little athlete bit too, right? Because it's like, the start of every season, you've got a goal for the end of the season.
Exactly. Yeah. And I like to set those little goals for myself. And it's okay to, I'm pretty good at right now at being, at least right now, being okay with like letting things slip. Like, you didn't do like this workout you didn't do today, but it's okay. Like, you can do like you can do long walk, like something like that. So
you still find a way to work it in if it doesn't perfectly fit into your schedule.
Like, I usually will try and do like a week. I think this is just like a mental crazy thing. I don't know. Like, this is like a trait of myself or something. But like, I'll like set like a running plan for the week. I want to do X miles this day, X miles this day, X miles. And if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. But I want to, if I do complete that goal, it's like, I don't give myself anything, but I'm like, I did it. Like, I'm really satisfied.
Actually happens.
Yeah, nothing actually happens, but it's like a pure satisfaction to myself. So, well, I don't know what that's about either, but I like to think it's my athlete goals. Yeah.
But it is. Yeah. I have to think that it is. Just even in the sense of like, and also it's giving you a way to compare or a way to track progress and or know like where you stand.
Yeah.
Because I do find that it's like a lot of times when athletes are no longer playing, you're so used to having a score to report, a stat line, something that you can kind of point to that's like, oh, here's where I am.
Yeah.
Your team in a season, right? Where are you ranked? Like, what's your win-loss record?
Yeah.
And so, too, it's like there is that kind of innate piece in athletes that is, oh, how do I compare to the other team? Or how do I compare to that other player? How do I compare to my teammates so that I can try to get more playing time? It's like we can't not compare.
Yeah, I just need an end goal.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
And it can be a goal that's super achievable, but it could be a goal that's not, like a goal that is not going to be achievable for a minute, is like qualifying for like a sub-3 marathon. And then a realistic one is getting to a 250 squat, which it's like, it's going to be difficult, but I can get there, with some work. So like, it doesn't always have to be something super difficult, or it can be something long-term. So and those are the things I do that I like, and like I can realistically set these things for myself.
Yeah. Love that. I know you get to put things out into the world all the time.
Yeah.
On a weekly basis, but is there anything else that you want to share, or any thoughts or ideas?
Yeah. Something I've recently coming to terms with and have been finding out is a couple weeks ago I was invited to this ally event with the New York Liberty, and I was like, oh, like, why was I invited here? Like, thank you so much for having me. Like, I'm so happy to be here. And they were like, like, you are such a voice for just like queer and ethnic people in sports. Like, a lot of people nominated you to come to this because they said they saw themselves in you, and like you made them feel comfortable in these spaces. So I think that's just really something I just am finding out, and I'm like very like happy about, and I didn't even know I was doing. So I think that's definitely what I want to put out there, and just if I can be a voice for anyone in the queer community to just be comfortable in the sport, I'm very happy to be that voice. Or ethnic someone, like I'm very happy to be that person. If people are seeing themselves through sports through me, I would love that. If they're more comfortable because of the things I'm saying, and I would love that. So I think that's really what I want to put out in the world. and just being authentically myself and like helping people out along the way and introducing them maybe to something new that they didn't think they were going to be a fan of. So I just think I'm recently finding this out, and it's something that has made me smile in the last couple of days. So I'm really happy about that. And then literally you guys messaged me and I was like, oh my God, I would love to be on.
Yes. This is aligning. It's all aligning. Yeah. And I think like, thank you for sharing your story and your experiences, because too, everyone's always different. Mm-hmm. There's so many similarities, but there's so many differences. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And even kind of what we were talking about at the beginning before we started recording, where your mom and sister were kind of laughing at you.
Like, why are you here? Yeah. Hope you're listening.
But too, like I said, like the whole point for us is like, no, we want to be able to show the spectrum across, like, maybe you didn't play beyond high school, maybe you ended as an Olympian, you know? And it's like some of the themes and the things that people grapple with and the way it shows up in people's lives and all of that are still the same. Yeah. Regardless of how long you played. Yeah. Yes, it, you know, impacts more deeply, and it's just at different ages and for different decades for some people, you know. But I think it's so powerful too. And I, when starting the podcast, didn't even really think about it necessarily from like, also for me, like having a queer identity, and like when I get to talk with other people and we get to also kind of like share and connect some of those experiences and having that piece kind of tied together as well, it is powerful, and it is sometimes a point of pain for a lot of people in how sports and identity in that way kind of merged. But it can also be really beautiful, and it can also be a way that people felt empowered to, you know, put one more forward than the other, or kind of find a way for those to exist, you know, at the same time.
It's something that this is like being a someone who puts out sports content into the world is something that I did not expect for myself, but I'm really enjoying along the way. Yeah. And it's something I'm like, wow, this has been a very fun journey for me so far. And even if it ended tomorrow, like I got a lot out of it. Totally. So I'm excited to see where it goes, but I'm also excited for what has come from it. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it's going a lot of places.
Let's see.
If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review. You taking that 5 minutes makes a huge difference and helps us to be able to make more episodes like this. And if you want to see more content in between the episodes, follow us at NoFormerAthlete on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I'm so glad you're a part of this No Former Athlete community. And if you know any No Former Athletes that you think I should get in touch with, DM me on Instagram at NoFormerAthlete. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.